सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमु रामाय तस्मै नमः रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम् रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः 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 थर्ड मुंडक सेकंड खंड सेवेंथ मंत्र गताः कलाः पंचदश प्रतिष्ठा देवाश्च सर्वे प्रतिदेवतासु कर्माणि विज्ञानमयश्च आत्मा परे व्यये सर्व एकी भवन्ति In Vedanta, there are two types of mukti which are spoken about. One is called as Jivan mukti and second is videha mukti. Jivan mukti is the bliss that a jnani revels in while in physical body, while his prarabdha is still going on. And when prarabdha exhausts itself, when the jnani is ready to drop the body, there is no more rebirth for that jnani. Such type of mukti is called videha mukti. The speciality of jnani dropping a physical form is no rebirth. For an ajnani, the subtle body continues to the next physical form because avidya, ignorance, is still there. And in the case of a jnani, when avidya is removed, subtle body and gross body don't drop right away. Subtle body and gross body, they continue until prarabdha for that body remains. until prarabdha is exhausted, gross and subtle body, they continue to express. When that prarabdha is complete, then it is called as videha mukti. In different Upanishads, these terms might not be used, but that is what they mean when they say moksha. One is Jivan mukti and videha mukti. There is one text where Vidyaranya Swamiji, he says, between Jivan mukti and videha mukti, if you look at it chronologically, it seems Jivan mukti comes first, then videha mukti comes. But he says actually it's opposite. First videha mukti, then Jivan mukti. Why is that? Because the moment clear knowledge takes place, there is no rebirth. The jnani knows, I am not this body, not this mind, firm abidance in the truth. There is no bhavi deha prapti. Bhavi deha prapti means future taking up of physical body. But for Jivan mukti, along with knowledge, one needs purity of mind and cleansing of vasanas. Purity of mind, cleansing of vasanas, and quietening of mind. So that process of working with mind, that might take some time. And he says, unless we get vasana kshaya and mano nasha, thinning down of vasanas and quietening of mind, the bliss of Jivan Mukti cannot be experienced, in spite of having knowledge. So he gives a very interesting dimension to it. Jivan Mukti Viveka. He says, first comes Videha Mukti, then is Jivan Mukti. For a person who is fully prepared, both might come together. Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. Of course, dropping the body will happen later, but the guarantee that there is no more rebirth, that also comes along with Jivan Mukti. So this is one of the few mantras which elaborates the detailed process, what happens during Videha Mukti. Gata Kalaha Panchadasha Pratishtha. The 16 aspects of Anatma which are there, out of them, 15 merge back into totality, into their cause. The one that remains is Nama, name of that jnani. And Devascha Sarve Pratidevatasu, not only the physical body, even the subtle body and the Devatas, which are presiding over sense organs, they go back to totality. They merge back into totality. Just like physical body disintegrates for everybody, for jnani, subtle body also disintegrates. There is no more transmigration of that subtle body. Karmani vijnanamayascha atma. All karmas, mainly sanchita and agami karma, they are also burnt or they go back to totality. But don't think of it as get added to totality. They don't come to that jnani because there is no karta. So in Tattva Bodha, there is one portion at the end where it says, if a jnani has no kartrutva, whatever karma he is doing as a jnani, and if he is a jnani, he will do good karmas only. So whatever japa, tapa, dhyana he does, who will get the good results of those? He says those who worship that jnani, they will get the good results of it. So that worshipping came in this month, Mundaka also. The last part of first khanda. Third Mundaka, first khanda. Yarchayet bhutikamaha. But if one is virakta, one doesn't want material things, still he can benefit in his spiritual journey. But the main point is, Jnani is not bound by karma phalas. Karmani vijnanamayascha atma. What is the meaning of vijnanamaya? Atma which has vijnanamaya as its conditioning. Atma which has buddhi as its conditioning. That buddhi is given up. The conditioning of buddhi is given up. Previously, identification was given up. Now, identification and buddhi itself, both of them are given up. See, in Jivan Mukti, Jnani cannot physically give up something. He cannot physically give up body, physically give up mind. Physically means literally. But in videha mukti, it is literally given up. Then what happens? Pare avyaye sarva eki bhavanti. He merges into totality without any distinct name and form. Totality means the self. In that infinite self, Jnani discovers his oneness, which he already discovered. Now that is the symbolism of that day. When we remember a Jnani on their videha mukti day, Mahasamadhi day, whatever spiritual and other benefits have to come to us as a sadhaka, that is accomplished just by remembrance. That's why Mahasamadhi day, I think Guruji has given the name Sadhana day. So Sadhana day means we have to contemplate on higher purpose of life and what is our path towards that higher purpose. What was the example given? Jnanis are like birds. We don't know which path they took. The only way we can follow is follow their teachings. Now another example to show this merging of manyness into one. See the 8th mantra. Yatha nadyasyandamana samudre astam gachanti namarupe vihaya तथा विद्वान् नामरूपाद् विमुक्तः परात् परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम् यथा नद्यस्यन्द्यमाना समुद्रे अस्तं गच्छन्ति नामरूपे विहाय तथा विद्वान् नामरूपाद् विमुक्तः परात् परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम् यथा स्यन्दमानाः नद्यः. Just like rivers which are perennially flowing, samudre astam gachanti. They merge into the ocean. And what happens when they merge? Nama rupe vihaya gachanti. Having given up their distinct identity, they merge into the ocean. What is the distinct identity of a river? Identity of a river? What is its name? One river is called Gangaji, Yamunaji. That name they give up when they merge into the ocean. Having merged, they don't have distinct names which they carried all along. Another distinction is how much water they brought. Who brought more, who brought less. Third is where did they originate? Which part of the country they originated? You see, all this distinction is lost when they merge into the ocean. Similarly, tatha vidwan, nama rupa vimukta. Just like the rivers gave up their name, their quantity of water, their color, and all other nama rupa identities, like that, this jnani also gives up his identities. What is the identity of a jiva? Features related to physical body. Identities related to physical body. Tall, short. Identities related to mind and intellect. Good, bad, indifferent, sharp, dull. All these are identities related to mind and intellect. These identities he gives up and becomes one with the self. Tatha vidwan nama rupad vimuktah parat param purusham divyam upaiti. Shankaracharya says this word parat param has been discussed before. So he's asking us, where did we discuss it? Mundakopanishad, I know. Where? Divyo hyamurtaf purushah sabāhyābhyantaro hyajah aprāno yamana shubhrah hyaksharat parataf parah. He aksharat parataf parah. So he says, see, what was the beginning of the teaching of Mundakopanishad is the conclusion also of that teaching. That question which Shaunaka Maharshi asked Angiras Rishi, that same question has been answered. And Angiras Rishi says, this jnani has Jivan mukti, and when the conditionings drop, he merges in that same akshara, which is parat paraha. What was one para for? The first para? Maya, avidya or avyakta. Compared to the effects of Maya, Maya is para. Compared to subtle creation and gross creation, causal is para. Causal is greater. And what is akshara? The one who gives existence to Maya. Akshara is the one in whom Maya is rooted. Maya appears. Therefore, akshara is beyond Maya also. So, parat paraha, that second paraha goes with akshara. And first para goes with Maya. Parat param purusham upayati divyam. Where did the word divyam come from? Divyo hyamurta. Same mantra is quoted here by rearranging the words. So divya means consciousness. In that consciousness, jnani abides during videha mukti. Now Shankaracharya mentions one point. He says whenever we start doing something auspicious, there are a lot of obstacles. If you decide you want to meditate, the number of obstacles that come. Shankaracharya says, this is very well-known fact. Shreyamsi bahu vignani. So what if somebody gains this knowledge, but some obstacle comes, some devata comes, and his path is shifted from abidance in akshara to some other place, and he is reborn again. Can this happen? It's a possibility, theoretical, hypothetical possibility. He raises that question. Is it possible that because of some vigna, in spite of gaining knowledge, some devata put some obstacle and this jnani was reborn? Shankaracharya says, no, this is not possible because jnani is the atma of that devata also. The one who is putting obstacle or who can put obstacle, jnani understands himself as that consciousness, which is atma of that devata also. So nobody will cause harm to the self. In other words, what he says, the only obstacle in self-abidance is avidya. The only obstacle in moksha is ignorance and its effects. Nobody from outside can come and put obstacles. This person's vasanas, this person's ragadveshas, they will put obstacles rooted in avidya. But if somebody is able to remove avidya in true sense, then there is no obstacles for that person. Any obstacle we can think of is a byproduct of avidya, not independently. Now the ninth mantra is another popular mantra, oft quoted because it has a unique idea. Sayo havai tat paramam brahma veda. Sayo havai tat paramam brahma veda. Brahmaiva bhavati. Nasya brahmavit kule bhavati. Brahmaiva bhavati. Nasya brahmavit kule bhavati. Tarati shokam tarati papmanam. Guha grantibhyo vimukto mruto bhavati. Guha grantibhyo vimukto mruto bhavati. Sayo havai tat paramam brahma veda. Brahmaiva bhavati. Nasya brahmavit kule bhavati. Tarati shokam tarati papmanam. Guha grantibhyo vimukto mruto bhavati. Yah saha tat paramam brahma veda. The one who knows the Supreme Self. Veda means one who knows. He is not called as knower of Brahman. What is he? Saha Brahma eva bhavati. He is not knower of Brahman, but he is Brahman. So Brahman is that one unique thing, having known which, one becomes it. No other thing in this world do we know and we become it. Fortunately, huh? Otherwise, imagine so many things are there. You know that thing and you become. If I know a knowledge, let's say if I know music, I am called knower of music. If I am able to see an object, see this harmonium, I am called knower of harmonium. But the one who knows Brahman is not knower of Brahman, he is Brahman. When can this statement be true? You know something and you become it. If you are already that. Brahman is our essential nature, which you are never different from. Essential nature we cannot undo or make otherwise. That Brahman, having known its true nature, essential nature, one becomes Brahman. Having known infinite, one becomes infinite. So that word becoming also, we have to understand carefully. It is not that before he was a Brahma, and having known Brahma, he has become Brahma. What is this becoming? Becoming is dropping erroneous notions. Jiva thinks he is finite. That erroneous thinking is dropped. So that dropping itself is called becoming. Really speaking, there is no becoming. I give up what I am not. So what I truly am remains with me. I give up the conditionings of body and mind, identification with body and mind. So the infinite self remains with us. That is called as Brahma Eva Bhavati. We have heard the example of the 10th man who thought he was lost and started crying and lamenting. Then after the wise person tells him, you are the 10th man. So he comes to know who is the 10th man. You can say, having known the 10th man, he becomes the 10th man. Having known Dashamaha Tvamasi, he becomes Dashamaha. Now, can you really say he became the 10th man? He was already the 10th man, but thinking of himself to be something else. How does this play out in our applied sense? Our essential nature is Ananda Swarupa. But what does a Jiva think? I need Ananda. And it tries going to different places. You remember that two-bird analogy? The smaller bird continuously pecks on different fruits. It will go to some objects. It will go to social media. It will go to some socializing. Bottom line is only one. Right now I am unhappy. I want to be happy. But when we truly discover with Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, little bit of quietude, when we start reflecting on this knowledge and discover I am that bliss. So knowing ourselves to be bliss, Jnani becomes blissful. Brahmavit, Brahma eva bhavati. Now the next statement is wonderful. Na asya abrahmavit kule bhavati. Simple meaning is, in his entire family or lineage, kula means lineage, nobody remains ignorant of Brahman. Na asya kule abrahmavit bhavati. But somebody might say, I don't see it. Many people have this question, right? If I become spiritual, will my family become spiritual? So what does this Upanishad mantra say? You don't see it yet. It's a long journey that we all travel, if not in this birth, in some other birth. The same Jiva will come on the spiritual path. How he will come is guided by the Lord. We don't need to insist date and time, or we don't need to hasten the process. This mantra is very beautiful. It says, do what is in your hand. For us to become sincere seekers, that is in our hand. And this mantra promises, if we are able to do that, nobody in the family remains unspiritual. If not today, tomorrow. That is how the journey of a Jiva is. Now some commentators, they have given second meaning of this. One meaning is, whoever is Brahmavit, in his whole lineage, nobody remains a Brahmavit. Second, he says the meaning of kula is Shishyadi Vamshaha. Shishyadi Vamsha means none of the disciple remains a Brahmavit. Disciple like Shaunaka Maharshi, who has the qualifications, sadhana chatushtaya, no disciple remains ignorant of Brahman. So both meanings are given. Shishyadi Vamsha or colloquial meaning of Vamsha means family lineage. But if you see family lineage, you should be able to explain. Why don't we see quick results? This is, if you look at our total lifespan, how many janmas we have taken. 2-3 births is nothing. 2-3 janmas is nothing compared to several millions and thousands of life forms that this jiva goes through. So we cannot say there is no change happening. Don't you see, in our own experience, if let us say grandfather, great-grandfather was a great student of Vedanta, they would have left behind some books. Or we would remember, oh, they would study in this way. Whenever there was difficulty in the house, they would quote some Bhagavad Gita verses, some Upanishad mantras. Then today we might get inspiration. What is this Upanishad? So their Punya Karma is also blessing those who are in the lineage. Some desire will come to study. Somebody in the family took sannyasa. All others start wondering, why is he in strange clothes? They don't know what is sannyasa, what is the spiritual path. Then that is their first introduction. There is a life where you can commit wholeheartedly to Brahman. Brahma Prapti. What will be their next question? Who is this Brahman? And they might hear and go away. But somewhere something will come again. Oh, this is the same thing which I heard at that time. So slowly a sadhaka is born. And our own past we don't remember. This janma little bit we remember. But Purva Janma we don't have any access to it. But we should note this mantra carefully. Na asya abrahmavit kule bhavati. Na asya kule abrahmavit bhavati. Nobody remains ignorant of Brahman. Then we are used to practical benefits. I say, what is the practical benefit of Brahma Vidya? Upanishad says, tarati shokam tarati papmanam. Whichever thing we get attached to, whenever that thing modifies, either it changes or we have to go away from that thing. The pain felt in the mind is called as shoka. If you are not attached to something, whether it is there or not there, it doesn't matter. But whatever things we are attached, there if there is viyoga means separation. Santapa, the affliction felt in the mind, is called as shoka. So what is the first practical benefit of Brahma Vidya? Jnani crosses over shoka. And Shankaracharya clarifies, not after dropping the body. While living itself, he crosses over shoka. Because his attention is on consciousness, not conditioning. And through sadhana chatushtaya, he has developed an art of not getting attached. Which quality is this? Vairagya. Viveka, Vairagya. So Vairagya is there. Therefore, no shoka. Vairagya with jnanam, with abidance in the self, there is no sorrow. Tarati papmanam, he crosses over all dharma and adharma. There is no desire to do dharma for some material gain. Dharmic action in a jnani is his natural state of being. It's not a cultivated or a conscious state, it's a natural state. And guha grantibhyah vimuktah amrutah bhavati. The one who is freed from guha granthi. Did this word come, granthi? Which granthi was it? Hrudaya granthi. Hrudaya granthi means avidya and vasana. Ignorance and deep-rooted impressions. One who is free from it, he becomes immortal. Now the 10th mantra is talking about how this Brahma Vidya should be taught. To whom it should be taught and to whom it should not be taught. That is the main topic of the 10th mantra. Have you heard the word sampradaya? Sampradaya word comes in music, comes in art, comes in Vedanta also. Guru Parampara we say sampradaya. Sampradaya is made of two words, sam and pradhanam. Pradhanam means to give. Sampradhanam means you give it to the right person. So that knowledge which has come down through right people, that knowledge is called as sampradaya jnanam. So the giver made sure the recipient is fit to receive it. Recipient will do justice to that knowledge. That kind of knowledge is called sampradaya jnanam. And whoever is part of that chain is called as sampradaya with, one who belongs to that sampradaya. If that care is not taken, something you give and you don't even care whether it was received by the right person, received in the right way, that is called as tyaga. Tyaga means you let go of something. And whenever you do tyaga, you are not concerned about who is taking it. Sometimes you find on the street, right, the furniture, they say for free. Whatever they don't want, they'll put outside. That is tyaga. Who takes it, you don't care. But if you have a precious thing come from ancient time and you really value it, and for some reason you have to give it to somebody, what will you make sure? A recipient is good. He will take care of that thing well, maintain the glory of that precious thing which is valuable to you. That is sampradaya. So here some indicators are given. Who is the fit recipient? Look at the 10th mantra. Kriyavanta shrotriya brahmanishthah swayam juhvata ekarshim shraddhayantah तेषामेवैतां ब्रह्म विद्यां वदेत तेषामेवैतां ब्रह्म विद्यां वदेत तेषाम् एव येषां तेषामेवेषां ब्रह्म विद्यां वदेत शिरोव्रतं विधिवद्यैस्तु चीर्णम् Shirovratam vidivadyaistu chirnam क्रियावन्तः श्रोत्रिया ब्रह्मनिष्ठाः स्वयं जुह्वत एकर्षिं श्रद्धयन्तः तेषामेवैषां ब्रह्मविद्यां वदेत शिरोव्रतं विधिवद्यैस्तु चीर्णम्. To whom should this knowledge be given? Kriyavantah. Kriyavantah means one who has done nishkama karma, one who has done selfless action. That person becomes the adhikari, fit student to receive this knowledge. That is the first qualification. One who has done karma yoga, selfless action, he becomes fit. Second is Shrotriyaha. Shrotriyaha means one who is eager to learn. One who is eager to learn, especially when it comes to Upanishads. It should not be given casually. It should not be discussed casually. It should not be taught casually. You know, one of the biggest drawback or pitfall is if the sadhaka who is sharing is not pakka. Pakka means if he is not firm in his own conviction. If he shares casually with somebody who is not interested, and if they critique this knowledge, criticize this knowledge, then his faith in that knowledge will be shaken. So Upanishad warns us, share it with only those who want to hear. If you are doing otherwise, then it's lost a lot of effort, very minimal returns. And it can harm our spiritual growth. Remember, this advice is not given for teaching of Karma Yoga. Teaching of Karma Yoga, Bhagavan says, Nabuddhi bhedam janayet. Don't tell a person who is strongly attached in karma that this is not the right way to do karma. Do Karma Yoga. He says, don't create confusion in his mind. Let him get attached and let him suffer because of that attachment. You make sure that you set the right example. Joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. Only that warning he gives for Karma Yoga. But when it comes to Vedantic teaching, there are more things which are mentioned. Person has to be Karma Yogi. Person has to be willing to listen. Then only it will make sense. Then only it will be, that sharing will be meaningful. And Brahmanishtaha. If you take literal meaning, what will it be? You should share Brahma Vidya with Brahmanishta. Brahmanishta here doesn't mean knower of Brahman. Brahmanishta here means Saguna Brahmanishtaha. Those who are devotees of the Lord, those who have a pious life. This knowledge should be shared with them. You must have heard that statement, right? I am spiritual but not religious. This mantra questions that statement. They say religion is the foundation for spirituality. If a person says, I don't worship God, I don't do any rituals, I have no faith in sadhana, but I want Brahma Vidya. This mantra says it will not work. Sadhanas have their own contribution. one who does it becomes the right recipient of Brahma Vidya. So 3 qualifications are mentioned. Karma Yogi, Shrotriya. Shrotriya means one who is eager to learn. And Saguna Brahmanishta, one who is devoted to God. Then Swayam Juhvati Ekarshim. There is one fire ritual called as Ekarshi fire. He is doing that fire ritual. How should we understand this? He has faith in rituals. Because not everybody might be able to do fire ritual every day. He has faith in rituals and some kind of discipline. Ritual means discipline. So person who is living a disciplined life, that person becomes fit to study Brahma Vidya. Any ritual you start, there will be so many do's and don'ts. Where to keep the brick. We saw that in Mundaka only. How to offer the ahuti, right side or left side. One who follows it with faith, which shows his discipline. That is one qualification. And Shraddhayantaha, one who has faith. Jagat Mithya, he says, I don't understand, but I know it is true. If Upanishads have said it, it has to be true. Such a sadhaka will benefit from study of Vedanta. Tesham eva etam Brahma Vidyam vadeta. Those people who have purified themselves with these sadhanas, Karma Yoga, Shrotriya, Bhakti, disciplines, faith. Shankaracharya gives one name for them, Samskrita Atma. Samskrita Atma means beautiful mind. What is opposite of this? Prakruta Atma. Prakruta Atma means mind which does whatever comes to it. Mind which is impulsive, instinctive. That's a better word. Instinctive mind is Prakruta Atma. Obedient mind, beautiful mind is Samskrita Atma. How to make the mind obedient and disciplined? Karma Yoga, some rituals, faith in God. All these things put together makes the mind beautiful and disciplined. One more qualification is there, Shirovratam. Now this word Shirovratam is not elaborated in the commentary or in many places. So there are different meanings given. In Atharva Veda itself, there is one ritual called as Shirovrata. Shirovrata means there is fire which is taken, kept in a vessel. That vessel is kept on the head. And you have to do some rituals in that way, keeping that fire on the head. That is called as Shirovratam. This is where the name of the Upanishad comes from, Mundaka. Munda means head. So that Upanishad which will work for a person who is willing to do Shirovratam. Taking fire on the head, that Upanishad is called as Mundaka Upanishad. So that fire on the head symbolizes Vairagya. Wanting to abide in the self, that can be the symbolic meaning of that fire. This is the first meaning. Second meaning is Pauranic meaning. Devi Bhagavata Purana, Shirovratam is defined as applying bhasma on the forehead. That is Shirovratam. And it's one kind of an upasana. where you consider all elements to be this bhasma, space, air, fire, water, earth, all these elements are represented by bhasma. And you apply that bhasma on the head. Just like we do in Sandhya Vandanam. Bhasma is taken and applied. It is symbolic of negating the ego. Shiva Mahimna also that stotram comes. Bhagwan Shiva is adorned with bhasma. What does that bhasma symbolize? Badha, negation of creation, particularly the ego. In Upasana, if you take it as Upasana, it is, I belong to totality. Bhasma applying on the forehead represents that the body which is holding this bhasma and the bhasma, both are same. I belong to totality. In this way, he has trained his mind. That is called as Shirovratam. One meaning is taking fire on the head. Second meaning is applying bhasma. See, applying bhasma in a way is a linga. Linga means what? Indicator. That I am a committed seeker of truth. We don't have to apply it everywhere, but at least while studying, at least while doing spiritual actions, even Chandanam, it is the same idea. It's a linga for our commitment to our goal. Third meaning of Shirovratam is literal mundanam. Removing the hair, that is called as Shirovratam. That is colloquial meaning. You will hear the third meaning more than the first two. Why is Mundakopanishad called Mundaka? Third meaning is very popular. Because you need mundanam, which is done by sannyasis, and that represents detachment. They say our hair is something that we are very attached to. Some people say every hair represents one desire. So no hair means first no maintenance. You don't have to worry about shampoo and conditioner, nothing. But it also symbolizes commitment to the goal. We want abidance in Akshara. That commitment is shown by Shirovratam. Vidhivad yestu chiranam. Chiranam means acharanam. One who has done this vratam systematically, has faith, that person should be given this knowledge. Now this mantra, today is Gurudev's Jayanti. We have to be so grateful that he brought this knowledge in our life. Imagine if he had to sit down and put this as an entrance exam. Who should gain this knowledge? Kriyavantaha. One who has done selfless actions. Shrotriyaha. One who is eager to learn. One who is saguna brahmanishtha. We would never start on this path. So it doesn't mean Guru will have some kind of a parameter. What it means is, the one who has these qualities will benefit the most from Guru's teachings. Everybody will hear, but very few will feel my life has become peaceful and joyous with this teaching. And there was no difference in the teaching. What was the difference? In our ability to grasp and internalize. So Gurudev says in one place, ocean might be vast, but how much water I can take from that ocean depends upon the size of my container. If I go with a spoon From that vast ocean, I will come back with a spoon of water. And if I go with a big vessel, that much water I can take. What is that ocean representing? Brahma Vidya and the results of Brahma Vidya. What is the container? These qualifications. Whoever has these qualifications will start feeling, not only I know Brahma Vidya, but my life is becoming peaceful and happy. Knowledge is something we should transition into or translate into the result. That is why these qualifications are given. From Guru's side, it is said, don't be disheartened. Only the one who has this qualification will get it. Don't become impatient or restless. Why isn't everybody getting it? And very few people will be interested in Brahma Vidya. See, that's why in olden times, their way of testing the qualification of the student was the ashram would be in a hill, on a mountain. Means who will go to that mountain? Only the one who really wants this knowledge. And nowadays, ashrams, boarding and lodging is in the ashram. Traditional Mahatmas, only knowledge is given by the teacher. It's both other things you have to manage on your own. That is also to test commitment of the student. So we should not interpret this mantra as something which will stop us from learning. This mantra should be looked at, what is it that will make our learning effective? These qualifications will make it effective. Minus these qualifications, knowledge might come, but result will not come. Now this Upanishad concludes with the 11th mantra. Tadetat satyam Rushirangirah purovacha Naitad achirna vrataha Adhite Namah paramarushibhyo Namah paramarushibhyah Tadetat satyam Rushirangirah purovacha Naitad achirna vrataha Adhite Namah paramarushibhyo Namah paramarushibhyah Tadetat satyam. This truth, which was asked by Shaunaka Maharshi to Angiras Rishi, was taught to him and thus is completed. Rishihi Angira Purovacha. Shaunak Maharshi, who asked respectfully to his guru, Angiras Rishi taught this teaching to him. Na etat achirna vrataha adhite. Upanishad says, one who has not done the disciplines mentioned in the previous verse. This knowledge should not be taught to that person. Even one of the previous things is missing. Qualification is lacking to learn Brahma Vidya. Either faith is not there. Person is tamasic. Karma Yoga is not established in his life. Devotion to God is not there. You see, that will become an obstacle in some way. Therefore, this teaching should not be given to him. Namah Paramarshibhyo. We bow down to all those rishis who have seen Paramatattva. Paramarushi means Rishi, one who has seen Parama. All of them in the Sampradaya, in the tradition, we bow down to Namah Paramarshibhyo, Namah Paramarshibhyah. Iti Tritiya Mundake, Dvitiya Khandaha, Samaptaha. With this, we conclude Mundaka study. Let us chant the first mantra of Mundakopanishad, Brahma Devanam. Om Brahma Devanam Pratamasam Babhuva Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta Sabrahma Vidyam Sarva Vidya Pratishtham Atharvaya Jeshtaputraya Praha. This is just a reminder to us that in first study of the Upanishad, we only gain samskara. Many times we don't even know what is happening. So many mantras are coming, so many ideas are coming. Then in summer, this can be one very good sadhana. We should remember Puja Guruji's advice. Upanishads are like mirrors. To see our face, one clean mirror is good enough. So to see Atma, how many Upanishads do I need to study? If I study one Upanishad thoroughly, reflect upon it, and meditate on key verses, that one Upanishad will help us a lot. So Mundaka is one such Upanishad. We can start from the first verse with Shankar Bhashya, if you are having that interest, and look at the main flow of thought. Is it okay if I take 10 more minutes? I thought we'll quickly go over some key mantras that way you can note down if you want to focus. First Mundaka, first Khanda. First Mundaka, first Khanda. Key mantras are mantra number 6, mantra number 3, mantra 6, and mantra 7, 3, 6, 7. That which talks about Shaunaka Maharshi's question, that is mantra 3. Mantra number 6 talks about nature of Akshara. And mantra 7 talks about how this creation has emerged from Akshara. Then first Mundaka, second Khanda. Key mantras are mantra number 7, mantra 11, and mantra 12. 7, 11, and 12. Mantra number 7 talks about limitations of karma. This Khanda spoke about greatness of karma, but the 7th mantra came and said there are some limitations in karma, they are impermanent. Mantra 11 talks about upasana. Tapashraddhe Hyupavasantaranye talks about upasana. And mantra 12 talks about how do we shift from karma upasana to jnanam. How do we transition on to Brahma Vidya? So first Mundaka done. Second Mundaka. Second Mundaka, first Khanda, 2.1. Important mantras are the second mantra, Divyo Hyamurtah Purushah. And the last mantra, 10th mantra, Purusha Evedam Vishwam. What was the flow of thought here? Akshara was defined. Then everything has emerged from Akshara. And 10th mantra said, you are that Akshara. That was Mahavakya. Second Mundaka, second Khanda, 2.2. Key mantras are the bow and arrow metaphor, archery metaphor. Third and fourth mantra. Dhanur Bruhitva Upanishadam Mahastram, third mantra. And fourth mantra is Pranavo Dhanuhu Sharohyatma. And another important mantra is the ninth mantra, Bhidyate Hrudaya Granthi. So 3, 4, and 9 are the important mantras in second Mundaka, second Khanda. 3.1, it started with two birds metaphor, Dva Suparna. So that is an important topic, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3, they are all connected. Two birds metaphor is elaborated. Then Satyameva Jayate. Sixth mantra was there. So you can actually say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Fourth mantra was Atma Kridaha Atmaratihi. For Brahma Vidya, it is very important mantra. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6th. Then 3.2, important mantras are the third mantra, Yame Vaishya Vrunute Tena Labhyaha. So in summer, if I am planning to recap Mundakopanishad, what should be my thought process before starting to recap? May I get self-abidance. Yame Vaishya Vrunute Tena Labhyaha. Then only everything else is meaningful. Then the last few mantras that we saw, 7, 8, and 9. Videha mukti mantras, they are uniqueness of this Upanishad. So mantra number 3, mantra 7, 8, and 9. Other mantras are also important, but these are some unique and special mantras. So it is a great joy to reflect on Mundakopanishad, especially with Shankar Bhashya. So this mantra has 65, or this Upanishad has 65 mantras, and we took almost 74 classes. Which means on every mantra, on an average, we got to spend one session because we studied with Shankar Bhashya. And if this taste has come to study with Shankar Bhashya, we have to seek Bhagwan's grace, Gurudev's blessings, to protect that taste. Because traditional style of learning, it takes time to appreciate. And if you have started getting that taste, we have to keep increasing it. So more we become familiar with Bhashya over summer, we will start enjoying this style of study. Okay, my thanks to all our sevaks who are on the AV. They start the session 15 minutes before, play Swamiji's chants. All of that sets a very good tone for the class. Even if you listen to Swami Brahmananji's chanting, it was very nicely done. And Hari Om to all of you who are on your video on. Good to see all. Hari Om, Hari Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.